We are really happy to have an interview with you. You are the first woman here in Mecklenburg County CMPD. That is wonderful. So I have some questions for you.
Sure.
So it's really easy questions, but we have to do it.
Okay.
Okay. What are the unique skills and leadership experience do you bring to the CMPD? And how do you believe they will impact the department moving forward?
So I'll say probably the number one skill or experience I have is that I was a chief before for a major metropolitan city. When coming back, and I think that's going to really impact coming back to Charlotte, because this is not a job that you can just enter when you don't have experience, with so many different types of things coming at you. So I'm very thankful for the experience I had in Raleigh, because I think it prepares me for this position. But also too, I think the other thing I bring to the table is that I'm just a natural collaborator. I'm a person who likes to bring people together, communities together, so that we can work through problems. I never believe that only one person or one group can solve a problem. A lot of the things we are facing today in our world is very complex, and one group cannot solve it by themselves. So being able to collaborate and bring everybody together, I think, is important.
Okay, thank you. What are the most pressing leadership challenges within CMPD right now, and how do you plan to address them?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems within the organization is just morale and bringing that up. And the morale is not because anybody is not a good work culture. It's not that. It's just the number of vacancies we have. It's hard to do the work when you're constantly going.
How many vacancies?
We have close to 200 or so vacancies, which is difficult. And certainly we got to take that number into perspective, because we have people in our police academy. So once they graduate, then we will count them as being officers. So it becomes very difficult when you have to constantly be in a city that's growing, but the department's not growing. And so everybody becomes overworked as a result.
Wow. So how many more do you need, to cover the 200, and how many more you need for the department? How many officers?
So I haven't done the full assessment yet, but if I just had to kind of throw a number out, I would say probably we need about 300 or 400 officers for the size of the city and the anticipated growth of the city.
Okay, thank you. Well, immigrant communities, mostly undocumented residents, often fear interacting with police due to the national climate around immigration. And to mention the last CBP operation in Charlotte, which was a nightmare. Not only for undocumented immigrants, but citizens and legal residents. And what message do you want to convey to them about reporting crimes and seeking help? Yes.
First and foremost, let me say CMPD does not enforce immigration laws. We're not in the business of doing that. We've never been in the business of doing that. So we want our migrant communities, undocumented individuals to know that we're not going to ask you your immigration status when we're dealing with you, kind of thing. We have federal agencies that do that. CMPD has always had a great relationship with different aspects of our community. In fact, just last week, we had a big event with our Latino community over off of Steel Creek Division, that area there, and we had over 3,000 people come out. And that is a testament to the relationship and the trust that we have between the police and the Latino community. And so this is a difficult time that we're in right now, because we know that some of our immigrant community do not feel safe in this country. They may have lived in this country for many years, but now there's that fear that they might be deported, kind of thing. I think it's unfortunate that we are there. However, that's our reality. But as I stated before, CMPD is not in the business of enforcing immigration laws.
So do you plan to go to the community to show up there and show that you are very friendly?
Yes.
And the department is friendly with them?
Absolutely. And we have already been doing that. I think that's why 3,000 people or so showed up last week. And I was there as well with them. And, you know, a lot of people came up to me and said, can my daughter, my son, can I take a picture with you? They felt comfortable enough to do that. And I was glad that they did, because that does show that there is trust between the communities. And we will continue to do that. At the end of the day, as a police chief, I'm concerned about the whole community and the safety of the whole community.
How the CMPD officers felt with the CBP operation in Charlotte? How they felt? They told you something about that?
Well,
because
I wasn't.
It was really weird.
Yeah, certainly, and I wasn't in the seat yet. I had not been named to be the police chief, or I might have just have been named to be police chief. So I wasn't there, and I didn't have an opportunity to really just to talk to employees to see how they felt. But what I saw is that CMPD continues to make sure that we're in those communities where we need to be, and that we're building relationships with the communities. Because at the end of the day, if somebody's a victim of crime, they need to report that. We need to investigate it. We need to be there for them, regardless of immigration status, regardless of whether, you know, they are here in this country legally or not. We have to be able to be responsive to crime.
Sure, thank you. How many Spanish-speaking officers currently serve within the CMPD? And are you planning to increase the number of bilingual officers?
Okay, so I don't have that number for you, but we can get that number for you. Yes, because we have a language incentive that we offer to our employees. So we do want to increase the number of bilingual officers in the department.
Okay. I believe in the past, the CMPD used to have 20, something like that, but I don't know actually how many are. Okay. Under the current circumstances, if any CMPD required to collaborate with ICE or other federal immigration agencies, how do you ensure this does not stop immigrants from seeking help? Because sometimes, you know, they're asking to collaborate. In which cases you have to do it?
Right. So to my knowledge, and I don't know for sure on this, I don't think that they have reached out to us to collaborate. I think they've done their operations just kind of independently. However, I will say my philosophy is, if we have dangerous, violent criminals, whether undocumented or not, we're going after them. And so if ICE was to come to us, or Border Patrol, and says, we have a list of these violent offenders, CMPD help us find them, we're going to commit to that. We are going to do that, because at the end of the day, we want to make our community safe.
All right, thanks. Do you agree with the current strategies, you know, to reducing the violent crime in the city? Or you planning to do some changes?
No, absolutely. Violent crime mitigation is important to me. In fact, it is one of my priorities that we want to make sure. And I will say this too, as I've stated to other people, our violent crime numbers are down year over year, over last year. We're very pleased. We're very proud of that. But we know there is a perception that the city is not safe, or that violent crime is high. We're going to always work to keep violent crime as low as possible, because we know that the impact that has on the community. But I think also too, in fairness, when there is an incident and it's isolated and it's repeatedly played in the media and on social media, that kind of thing, that gives people the perception that it's happening every day, or it's happening multiple times throughout. And we're a large city. We're going to have crime. We cannot just zero out crime.
Of course.
But the community has to know that we're always working to keep that number down, because we don't want anybody to be victimized.
Yeah. Well, yes, the last one is, I don't have to plan to ask about this, but what about the light blue line, you know? I know the CATs, they contract a private service, you know, for the safety there, but the other parties from the police department. What about this? You know, these cases happen in the last 2 months that are, you know, national news. What do you think about that? What the police are doing to keep the safety at the blue line links?
Yes, it is a top priority for CATS. It's a priority for us to make sure that our light rail is safe and that people feel safe riding it. We've increased our security along the light rail, the light trail, the trail, the rail trail. That's important to us. And we're just working very closely with CATS. And it is not just about putting personnel, because really, truly, nobody has the manpower to put an officer on every single train all day long. We understand that, but we want to also use technology. That's important, using those resources that helps us to identify when people are not paying their fare, when they have warrants and they're riding the train and there being a problem on the train. That's important. And not just the train, on the buses as well is important.
Okay, we'll see what's happening.
Yes.
Okay,